Evening was slowly descending upon the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, enveloping it in impenetrable darkness. The shadows cast by the debris in abandoned buildings grew thicker and more ominous. Artyom, an experienced stalker, was making his way alone through these wild and dangerous lands. He knew that every mistake here could cost him his life, but his mission was too important to turn back. Artyom was heading to one of the old scientific stations. Known as the Bunker of Fears, it was said that secrets capable of changing the very nature of the zone were hidden there. Gripped by both anxiety and curiosity, he delved deeper into the heart of this sinister territory. The forest around him grew denser and darker. Suddenly he heard a rustle in the bushes. His heart beat faster, but he calmly continued on his way, trying not to succumb to panic. After a while, Artyom emerged onto an old road leading to the bunker. There, on the side of the road, he saw his first anomaly, the carousel. It was a vortex of energy, where dust and debris swirled, occasionally sparking with blue lightning. Artyom carefully circumvented the dangerous spot, using a bolt to check the path ahead. As he approached the entrance to the bunker, ghostly figure scanners surrounded him. These creatures were invisible to the naked eye, but emitted strange sound waves that could be detected with special equipment. Artyom put on headphones and activated the detector. The crackling sound confirmed the presence of the scanner. Slowly and confidently, he began to make his way through this unseen field, trying not to attract attention. When Artyom finally reached the massive iron doors of the bunker, he felt cold sweat trickle down his back. The door was slightly ajar. Artyom drew his pistol and stepped inside. Inside the bunker, a deathly silence reigned. Only the occasional drip of water from the ceiling created an eerie echo. Suddenly, a silhouette of a person appeared before him. Artyom raised his flashlight and saw that it was a dead scientist, his face contorted in terror. In his hands was clutched some sort of device. Artyom cautiously removed it and found it to be a journal with notes. The journal spoke of experiments with a new type of anomaly called darkness. It was capable of absorbing light and heat, creating a zone of absolute darkness and cold around itself. The scientists had tried to study it, but something had gone wrong. The anomaly had gotten out of control and began spreading through the bunker, consuming everything in its path. Artyom felt a chill in the air. He looked up and saw the corridor ahead beginning to plunge into dense blackness. Before he could react, he heard a quiet whisper. It came from the darkness and sounded as if the darkness itself was speaking to him.
They thought they could control me, but I am more than their science.
Artyom felt his heart freeze with fear. He tried to back away, but his feet seemed rooted to the ground. The darkness slowly crept towards him, consuming the light of his flashlight. At the last moment, Artyom managed to break free and sprint down the corridor. He understood that the darkness would not retreat and would pursue him to the end. Navigating through the labyrinthine corridors of the bunker, Artyom stumbled upon a laboratory. There he found more dead scientists in the main terminal. Quickly turning it on, he began searching for information on how to stop the darkness. Lines of text flickered on the screen, and Artyom saw a mention of some artifact that could neutralize the anomaly. This artifact was called the Beacon. The scientists had developed it specifically to combat the darkness, but it was too unstable. Artyom realized that this was his only chance. He found the coordinates of the artifact's storage, and without wasting time, headed there. The storage was deep within the bunker, and the path to it was strewn with traps and anomalies. Artyom had to use all his skills to navigate this deadly labyrinth. Finally, he reached the door of the storage. It was secured with a complex electronic lock. Artyom entered the code he had found in the terminal, and the door hissed open. Inside the storage was a single item, a small metal container. Artyom opened it and saw the artifact. It looked like a small sphere, emitting a soft golden light. Artyom carefully took it and felt warmth spread through his body. But at that moment, the darkness found him again. It poured into the storage, filling it with thick gloom. Artyom held the artifact, knowing he had little time left. He activated it, and a bright light filled the room. The darkness hissed, as if burned by the light, and began to retreat. Artyom exited the storage, holding the artifact in front of him. The beacon lit his path, protecting him from the darkness. He knew that his task now was to get the artifact out of the bunker and deliver it to other stalkers. This was the only way to stop the spread of the darkness. But as he neared the exit of the bunker, he was attacked by mutants. These were doggies, horrifying creatures with dog bodies and human faces. Their eyes glowed red, and a menacing growl came from their mouths. Artyom fired several shots, but the mutants kept advancing. He realized that the beacon not only protected him from the darkness, but also attracted all the monsters around. Artyom began to retreat, shooting as he went. He understood that if he was killed here, the darkness would break free and consume everything around. Suddenly he heard a shout and turned around. There stood stalkers who had come in response to his call for help. They opened fire on the mutants, and the creatures began to retreat. Artyom made his way to the stalkers, and they helped him out of the bunker. On the surface, he was greeted by dawn. The sunlight chased away the last remnants of darkness. Artyom felt his heart lighten. He handed the beacon to one of the stalkers and said, "This is our weapon against the darkness. We must keep it safe and use it to protect the zone." The stalkers nodded, understanding the importance of the artifact. They left the bunker behind and headed to their base. Artyom knew that many dangers lay ahead, but now they had a chance to fight back against the darkness and protect the zone from destruction. However, when they reached the base and placed the artifact in a safe location, it became clear that something was wrong. The beacon began to flicker and emit strange sounds. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from it, heading into the sky. Artyom felt the ground tremble beneath his feet. Anomalies began to appear around them. It was reminiscent of the moment when the darkness had broken free from the bunker, but now it was happening with double the intensity. The stalkers tried to understand what was happening, but everything was happening too fast. And then Artyom realized that the beacon was a trap. It was an experiment by the scientists that had gone wrong. The artifact wasn't a weapon against the darkness, it was its source. Now, by activating it, they had unleashed the darkness. The zone plunged into chaos. Artyom and his comrades tried to escape, but the darkness caught up with them one by one. Artyom knew that they had made a mistake, and now they would have to pay for it. He ran to the artifact, hoping to find a way to stop it, but it was too late. The darkness engulfed everything around. It consumed the base, spreading over tens of kilometers. Artyom felt his body enveloped by cold and darkness. In his final moments, he saw the beacon being swallowed by the darkness and realized that this was the end. The exclusion zone once again became a place where darkness and light waged an eternal battle. And this time, the darkness had triumphed, consuming all living and non-living things. Now the Chernobyl zone was an even more dangerous and sinister place, where every step could be your last. Artyom vanished into the darkness, leaving behind only rumors and legends about the Stalker who tried to stop the darkness but became its victim. And the zone continued to live its life, shrouded in endless gloom.